Hello, beloved, and welcome to this week's episode of Quiet Feminist. I'm your host, Milud Auguste, and you can call me Mimi. And for people who are joining us for the first time, this podcast was started by me because I wanted to highlight Black women in the diaspora that have made meaningful impacts in progressing Black women's lives and Black girls' lives. And this is called the quiet feminist because I've always been a feminist. I'm the first feminist in my immigrant family from the Caribbean. And I'm finally finding my voice in a way where I can highlight different types of achievements that Black women from the Afro diaspora have achieved in progressing Black women towards safety and equal education and healthcare that have not necessarily been highlighted in major news outlets or covered through books and interviews. But I call them quiet feminists, not because they are meek, not because their voices have not had impact, but they focus more on policy changes, advocacy, and uh, some even on the front lines marching with different women from various backgrounds and classes so that they can achieve safety in a better world for women and girls. So, this is going to be a two-part episode. This is the introductory part where I highlight a little bit of history about women's rights in America specifically. However, the second half is going to highlight Maxine Waters, who has been in Congress for decades, making policy changes to impact people of low income, people middle class income, as well as Black and Brown children. And she is one of my personal heroes. So, the bulk of this episode, the last 20 minutes of the episode, will be talking about Maxine Waters. Okay, so when it comes to sexual violence, because we can't talk about women's rights without going straight to the point, sexual violence. Did you know that if you Google when did it become illegal to rape in America, it will say that it's always been illegal to rape in America. However, marital rape became illegal on July 5th of 1993. That means since the founding of America, a complex history built. This is the land of the Native Americans. They were massacred through mass genocide. Enslaved people were shipped from Africa through the transatlantic slave trade and were forced to work this land as enslaved people alongside with some of the Native Americans that survived, the indigenous peoples that survived. The wealth of this country is built off the backbones of Black people and Native American people, and most recent history off of immigrants as well. Don't come for me, white people. No room there. So that means since the founding of this country, marital rape was not viewed as an illegal act. It used to be that there was no escape from sexual violence if a woman got married. And it took, I believe, until the 1960s that women could file for divorce from their husbands. They couldn't open bank accounts until women couldn't open their own bank accounts until the 1970s. and women couldn't buy a home on their own until the 1980s in America, one of the most progressive nations in the world. Now, I'm not bashing America. Like I stated in the previous episode, I'm a migrant myself. I'm a U.S. citizen. Don't come for me, crazy Trump people. I'm a U.S. citizen. I vote Democrat, and I understand the privileges we have living here in America compared to where I am from and where a lot of women struggle to have rights to their own bodies, autonomy to their own bodies, yet alone the rights to vote or even to bear arms, literally and with a rifle. So, sexual violence is extremely common for a lot of people around the world. And what I have learned through many years of research and speaking to women who are survivors of domestic violence, of sexual violence, is women are taught to remain quiet. A few years ago, I was a victim myself. And when I had an attorney from the Victims' Rights Center investigate my attacker and speak to me, she came back and said, most victims of sexual violence don't go to the police, and 97% of rape charges are dropped in court. 97% of rape charges are dropped in court in the United States of America. And it's not for a lack of evidence. The system is rigged. It was created for men to try to insert dominance that they don't have through enacting sexual violence. And if you take a look at our US president right now, he is known to be a sexual predator. Not just the Epstein files, but when he was running for office, there was evidence of him assaulting women and underage girls. He was recorded saying, grab him by the pussy. He was literally recorded saying that during an interview. And men still elected him, women still elected him. And now they are shocked that all these rights are being taken away from women. There are states that are demanding that there be one vote per household. Only the head of the household gets to vote. And if they are in a hetero cis marriage, only the men gets to vote. They are literally trying to redact the ability to vote from women in the United States. Isn't that the craziest shit you've ever heard in your life? I thought I lived in some type of weird Twilight episode where I'm like, this can't be real. This has to be um, people gaslighting me through a limited media lens when I watch ABC News or when I watch Fox 25 News, because you know you got to stay up on the enemy. When I watch NBC News, CNN, BBC News, whatever it may be, and they're highlighting these things, I'm like, this is so surreal. It can't actually be happening. So when we it makes us reflect on all the different movements that women had to organize in order to gain the rights to have autonomy over their own bodies. And women like Maxine Waters were part of women's advancement in society and having a voice in Congress, having a voice that matters, and having a voice that really highlights what women of color, Black women, and children are going through and the different struggles that they have to overcome in order to have a decent life that a lot of white men, let's face it, here in America are just born into with privilege without having to work for it. So stay tuned as we highlight Maxine Waters next.